All right, so sorry for that long excursion on the different guitars. What I wanted to talk about was leveraging, I guess, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, contemporary instruments for jazz versus traditional instruments. And really, I mean, for me, I'm trying to just explore different guitars here and there from that perspective, but I always go back to the stuff that makes me feel comfortable. And I was thinking about over Black Friday, I ended up getting this guitar, and it's not Strandberg or Steinberg or anything like that. It's an Earth guitar, not Earth, E-A-R-T, or I think some people call it E-Art guitars, and very light. So it's not, you know, it's actually pretty good. Let's just put it that way. And it's one of the least expensive things I own that's guitar related. I think I picked it up for about $300, so I'm not getting paid for them as a sponsor or anything like that. So I went down this rabbit hole and I was looking at ergonomics for the guitar. And to me, ergonomics is loosely defined is anything that you do that the device can make it easier functional and physical wise. So it's very separate to me then from sound. Clearly, that's going to be the best thing in terms of whether or not you choose an instrument. To me, it's always going to be sound. But the way that whole Steinberger, Strandberg kind of like guitars type of things progress, my understanding is that, I mean, it started off, a lot of it is people that I always associated with metal and prog rock. And the reason being is these people have some of these incredible facility on the instrument. And they're literally practicing like 18 hours a day and going up and down and ripping scales and things of that nature. You know, you're talking about people like Tosin Abasi, you know, people like that. They're fanatics on the instrument. So they need one, lightweight instruments, and two, things that make them, you know, play easier. So hence is the funny shape. And you saw the way I played it. I can play classical style. It's got a bunch of different ways for you to hold it, traditional, this and that. It's very light. This one doesn't have the funky back that Strandberg has. This has a traditional neck, nor does it doesn't have the fan fret stuff that they have. But nonetheless, though, it's very light, and the pickups on this one are actually 57. They're not 57 classics, but they're definitely voice forged 57 classics. It's a warm PAF and all that. So okay. So I kind of think about it ergonomics. Like, if I played 3 guitars at the beginning of this video, right? I played, all 3 of them are very different, right? So the first one was a 1979 Guild. That's sort of like a holy grail. That's a 17-inch Archtop. A lot of people can't physically get their arms around that instrument. Let me just show you. So it's a very difficult instrument for some people to play. Oh, a second, let me shut this off. If you look at it, it's a big instrument, and when you play it, a lot of people have problems with this right here. So ergonomically, it's prohibitive for a lot of people. Just their body size, things of that nature. And you know, I think the Tele is the best compromise out of everything. And things like the Strandberg are very weird looking to me. That's just not what I grew up watching people play. Let's just put it that way. Nor am I a prog rock guy, nor am I trying to be a speed demon and things of that nature. So you got the ergonomics of it. So it's ergonomically, it's one of the best things I've ever played on. To the point where I wanted to actually try the actual Strandberg, see if this might be something I want to purchase. I don't like their necks, and I'm not a fan of the fan frets and stuff like that. The neck has like this funny, I don't know what it's called, but it's just not for me. I'm still more of a traditionalist than I think about. As far as playability, you know, I think it's all what you're used to. Like, I've got 13ths on this guitar and 13ths on a bunch of guitars. A lot of people who pick up my guitar say that's you know, hey, these strings are too heavy. So it's what you're used to. In fact, if the strings are too light, I'm not going to play them from that perspective. Ironically enough, I have not set this thing up. This thing has 10s to, I think, 46 or something like that. And so that's pretty good. These have 11s, and they're actually round wounds. These are Tomastic infels, and they're 13s. So playability is basically the setup of the guitar and how easy you're able to play it, you know. That's great that you're able to play a Strandberg or Strandberg types guitars that are headless and they wave less like that, you know, a lot easier. But at the end of the day, to me, it's always about the sound. Does it pass the muster of sound? And for me, I'm not trying to get an overdriven sound. I'm not trying to throw a gazillion pedals. There are some terrific jazz guitars that I saw playing, like I guess the Strandberg Sailing is one of them like that. But to me, it still boils down to what sound am I getting out of that. And, you know, as much as I want to say that I can kind of lean towards some of these more contemporary type builds, I still historically will just choose Archtops and, of course, Teles. I think the best compromise out of any of those things is that I personally, so this is not an indictment on other people who want to play with that, I don't need a contemporary instrument like the Strandberg or like this instrument. And it gets back to the last point that I want to talk about. I call it the it factor for me. And it, to me, is defined more as the historical, genre, and contextual nature of the instrument. I want to be attached to the history of jazz. That is why no matter how much I might deviate and love playing tellies, I know there's Ed Bakers and things like that, I'll always have my ES-175 Heritage or, you know, things like this, because this is what my heroes, these are the types of guitars that the people that I wanted to play and sound like played on. Okay, that really drives it, and that's the it factor. So in conclusion, for me, I think about the ergonomics, I think of playability, I think of sound, and I think about the it factor. So these contemporary instruments are great, like great to experiment, and depending upon the style that you come from, they might be great and better alternatives depending upon your body size, depending upon nut width that you're looking for, depending upon if you're playing standing up, sitting down, if you play classical. There's so many variables. The fact of the matter is they're all beautiful because they're guitars. All right, so as much as you might want to accumulate them, the key to getting better, at least for me, is to continue to practice and practice some more. Thank you again for watching. Bye now.